Welcome back to another Spirit Island video. In this video, we're going to be looking at Team Blue and their next turn. So, Team Blue, they have Nourishing Earth. They ended up drafting Jungle Hungers as well as Carapace Land last turn. Voice decided to do the very standard G2 top bottom, play a single card. And Finder also did the very standard G2 top top and ended up playing Circuitous as well as Paths Tide. At this point, Team Blue has decided the event for Team Red, as well as the next Explorer. So I'm going to now execute Team Blue's slow phase. Wandering Voice is going to use Frightful Keening to get 2 fear, and they're going to push their Incarna into H5. No, not H5. They're going to be pushing it into H4. Adding a Strife into H4 due to the special rule, and then they can push this town. They've opted to push the town into E6. Then we have Nourishing Earth is going to use Drop of the Fruitful Earth to gather two Dahan into this land here. And then Finder is going to use Paths Tide to move 2 invaders from F8 into F1. Oh, that is not correct either. Or is it? No. Paths Tide for 1 city and 1 town from F8 into F1. Go. And then they're using Circuitous to push half rounded up from F1 into F6. That looks more like it. I was like, wait a minute. I know buildings end in F6, but I was like, Paths Tide. I see. So they move buildings here and they move buildings here. They are also going to use Circuitous to push their presence, and they're going to move that presence from F1 into F6. And that is it for the slow phase. So time passes. Wandering Voice is going to G2 from bottom. Presence is going to go in both H5 as well as H8. And they've opted to play no cards this turn. Finder is also going to G2, playing 2 cards, and they decided to put this presence over here in E7. The 2 cards they're playing is Traveler's Boon, as well as Aid from the Spirit Speakers. I'm just double checking to make sure that is correct here. And that is correct. And looking at the Earth player, Earth is going to choose G2 again. This presence is going to go over here into E7, and they're going to gain a major. And once again, when they gain a major, they gain a minor. Looking at that major, these are their major drafts. We have Pillar of Living Flame, Tigers Hunting, Melt Earth, and Trees Radiate. These are all very interesting cards. I always gravitate towards Trees Radiate as it has that Sun Plant. Excellent for this innate. If I'm playing a Might Earth, I like grabbing Tigers Hunting. They opted to go with Melt Earth because Melt Earth combos with Finder. It says after invaders or Dahan are moved into target land, destroy them. So Finder, you can Melt Earth a land, and then Finder can shuttle a bunch of invaders there, killing them. Now that still will trigger the responsibilities to the dead, so they have to be very careful with it, but it is still a solid combo. And Earth is going to forget Rituals of Destruction, and then Earth gets a free minor draft. They have Lure of the Unknown, Devouring Ants, Quicken, and Razor Sharp. And Earth ends up going with Lure of the Unknown. I don't really know which card to pick. Usually I grab Quicken, but because of their Sacred Site positioning, I think Lure probably might be the better choice. They then go with Carapace as well as Voracious Growth. They're going to be doing Carapace Land, defending 3 right here. They're then going to use the Nourishing Innate, gathering a Dahan. They're going to gather that Dahan over here to E1 from E6 or from E5. They then add a Dahan, and then they add a Vitality. And that is with that Nourishing Innate. Voice does nothing. And Finder is going to play Aid from the Spirit Speakers. They're going to move to Invaders. They decided to move the Invaders from F1 into F6. And then they are going to use their left innate to push an invader. They're going to push that invader from F8 into F7. And then they're going to use that right innate to isolate the land. They then give Traveler's Boon to Wandering Voice. Wandering Voice is going to use that to move a presence here from H8 over here to E7, bringing a town. And that is with that Traveler's Boon. These are all of the actions for Team Blue. So now we get to see what event did the Team Red decide. And these were the events they got to pick from. And after a lot of analysis, they decided to go with Rising Interest. And, I mean, Rising Interest turn 1 is so brutal. Flip that over here. Now, this team, so Team Blue, they can pay for Rising Interest, but when they do pay, it's going to increase the damage. And that increase in damage is going to cause extra blight on E6, as well as possibly more Dahan are going to die on E1. That's if they pay for it. It also is going to mess up with Voices Reclaim looping and Finder. So, Team Blue has decided, you want to know what? We are going to pick the return, the top, or no, they decide to go with the top portion, where it says return the top card of the Invader deck. So I've done that already, and now we have our stage 2 here. They then have to add some towns, and looking at the actions, Team Blue has decided to add towns to F8. See? So F8 is going to get a town from the town add, as well as H4. And the last one will be on E5. And that is because they were not able to pay for this, so it has to add towns. Not paying for Rising Interest is incredibly brutal. It's deck acceleration that also adds a ton of buildings. It's downright unfair. They're going to add some beasts. The beasts are going to go into F2, H1, as well as E7. So all of those lands with buildings, and they're going to get 3 fear, 1, 2, 3, and then they're going to add some wilds. Fortunately, the wilds are likely not to matter this game. We have 1 in H3, we have 1 in E3, and E1. E3 and F1. So let's execute the Sands Ravages. So we have a Blight here on F8, a Blight here on H2. That gets cleared. This land does not Blight, but the Dahan do not participate because there is a Strife and the Incarnate is adjacent due to Voice's special rule. This land is now going to Ravage 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. Nourishing Earth only increases the health of Dahan by +2. So that will kill a Dahan. That will remove the Vitality. And then the Dahan are going to counterattack and kill the city. And let's kill that city here. And it looks like, I think Team Blue made a mistake. They thought that the counterattack would be occurring here based on their notes, and this is going to be a surprise to them because they do not know that. I think they might have overlooked Voice's special rule, where it says in lands with or adjacent to the Incarnate, if Stripe is present, Dahan do not participate. I'm pretty sure they accidentally forgot that here because they're expecting a building to die. Not sure it will matter that much, but We'll see how it ends up. Okay, so we did all that. Wetlands will now build. So build, 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 build. And then here it would ravage because of HME1, but there's a disease, so the disease goes away. And then they need to do their HME3, which is going to be an upgrade. And let me look at the upgrades. We have an upgrade in F8. So an upgrade in F8. An upgrade in H2. And finally, an upgrade in E1. So that's where our upgrades are going to be. And the explorer that was chosen for them, of course, it's none of the cards here. Coast, with the no escalation. Put these right here. Take one out. So Coast Explorer here. It's funny, they got they hit on all three of their wilds, but unfortunately of England rules, they are still going to have adjacency builds in those lands. This is looking really devastating, guys. I don't know what's going to happen. This looks just terrifying. I just see like the entire coast. I mean, I guess Finder can isolate this land, right? And that will stop 2 builds. Like, I'm most worried about this land here on H2 because they're going to build here in high immigration, build again, and build again. So this land is going to triple build, which is, yeah, I mean, that is terrifying. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to flip over the events. So these are the next events that could be chosen. Now these are going to be added to the pool of events. So now Team Red or Team Blue and Team Red will be able to choose another event from this entire pool. Of course, you can't choose the event that you just chose. So Team Blue gave Team Red Terror Spikes Upward, and Team Red gave Team Blue Rising Interest. So you can't choose that event again, but you can choose any event up here or the events down here. Now, this is the last turn to choose events from this top section, because after next turn, these events are gone, and then these events will be added to the pool. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else that I'm missing. I think I've covered everything. If you like this video, like, subscribe for more content. I will see you guys in the next video.